Traders, welcome back to the channel. The video is going to be a little bit different today. I did make a very good rundown of AMC yesterday, so go check that video out if you need to get my complete viewpoint of the week, how you move the dip, everything like that. I'll have another video coming out tomorrow, just a recap of what I think is going to happen, and then going over indexes as they open up tomorrow evening. Now, this video is going to be going over directly a lot of the FUD out there. People are saying that you need to stop buying, and I'm going to totally disprove the logic there because it's absolutely flawed. So let's not waste any more time. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Let's get to it.
I got no drip in my pocket.
So we're gonna jump right into it. Literally not even edit this video really. So this is the justification for what you're reading. And if you don't believe me, you can go to the comments below my last video and read what's going on. So Lou, if you don't know him, I don't know if he has any like education behind this at all, and I've never really spoken on it because most of he talks about is just a whole bunch of theories. Now, if you know anything about the stock market, or if you have went to school, and you don't have to go to school to trade, you absolutely do not have to, but if you talk to investors anywhere, the number one thing for the economy that's bad, or your stock, or whatever it may be, as an investor, the number one problem is not if they produce bad news, but it's uncertainty on the stock. Having uncertainty in the stock, or the stock market in general, is overall terrible for the economy. And that's why you saw a huge dip at the end of Thanksgiving with the COVID variant coming out, right? It's just uncertain. Like, are we going to have travel bans? Where are you going to restrict? Are we going to go into lockdown? That's the uncertainty. And that's why you're seeing dips in the market. But what Lou really has built his channel on is uncertainty and just throwing crazy theories out there. Now, there's no proof behind these at all. So when I'm talking about mentioning why I think there might be manipulation, I try to back it up with evidence or something that proves this, right? And so this is the only evidence that he can really produce is when you get to this. And like I said, this is totally flawed. So Lou is saying, if you go watch his last video, up until when you got the GME pop, that volume was at an all-time low. That it just, you know, there was no one buying, especially retail. Retail stopped buying. Now, this is where I'm going to stop you. Number one, if you believe that majority of the volume coming in is from just average day traders like me and you, then you're sadly mistaken. Because if we come over to AMC and we just look at what was traded, like, let's just be real. If you're on this theory that, you know, retail is making all this buying, then you're throwing out the whole theory that there's algorithms trading all day. So if we really look at this, so basically what Lou's saying is that retail is just buying nonstop and we're holding ourselves down, right? So I guess we're buying 25 to 20 million shares. Let's cut it in half. Let's say retail's buying 10 million shares a day. Let's cut it into 1/4. Let's say retail's buying 25%. They're 25% of that volume. There's a 0% chance that that's possible. There's zero. The buying would be ridiculous. You'd be living in a completely fraudulent system. And if we are living in this fraudulent system that's so fraudulent that we're buying 25% of the volume every single day, then Gary Gensler and them, I mean, they would have to really be getting paid by Citadel. And I don't think they're living that great of a life right now. So that's Lou's theory. And so let's go back to January. And we're going to get to GameStop, so bear with me. So I'm not editing this video whatsoever. I want it to be 100% transparent. So when you got your squeeze on AMC, it was right here, right? The 26th and 27th. So Lou's theory is that there is no buying going on. However, if we look back there, actually this volume equates to more volume than we're getting right now. So let's zoom in a little bit there. As you can see, 28, 67, 26 million, 39. And then actually a week before it happened, you had one of the most massive amounts of buying accumulating, right? 162 million, all 256, 181, right? Tons of buying coming in here. Tons. Actually, the days before, I mean, you had half a billion, another half a billion, and then a billion, right? So Lou's theory is you don't need volume. Although the 3 days before, you had arguably the most volume you've ever had on AMC. And obviously you can go look at June and look at that because he doesn't even mention that because he doesn't consider that a squeeze, I guess. But you had equally amount of volume, a little bit less, not a billion, but you still had a lot of volume back in the beginning of June. Now let's go over to GameStop, and there's no editing. There's nothing going on here. I'm not manipulating anything. See, Lou will post a tweet. This is how you know someone's trying to scam or shill you, right? And there's a high % chance this man is probably bought, right? So he's going to show you a handful of dates, right, that have some of the lowest buying. He's not showing the days before. So let's get to this. Remember, he stops at the 11th, right? So anyone can show the date. So right now, if you want to really be honest, is there any volume on GameStop? Because if his theory is right and you need no volume and you need no buying, I mean, we've had an occasional bit of volume days, but all things considered, you're getting a million, it's just nothing, just no volume, right? So in his theory, if no one's buying, then you're going to squeeze, right? So I mean, like logically over the past 10 months, like I said, the only time retail's really buying a lot is when you start getting big moves, right? But when we're stagnant or dipping, retail's not really buying, or they're not accumulating, 25% of that volume for the day. Now in June and May, high possibility retail was a majority of that volume because you went viral. You were all over Twitter, every social media, right? So we're going to go all the way back to January. And if you have questions, please comment. Or if you think I'm just making stuff up, please comment as well. So this is what he wants to show, right? I'm going to go to TradingView here in a second too, because they have a huge sale, and I recommend people look at that because I use it, and I'm going to show you exactly what I pay for so you can see that as well. But January 22nd, right? So I guess he's saying this is when you started, right? This is when the squeeze started, from 19 to 30. So that's a big move, 50%, and you kept going, right? But obviously, I will mention as well. Now, you could either say this is, covering and things like that. However, I think if you're an ape, if you're Lou, you always say no one's covered yet. You keep saying that theory. So if no one's covering back here, then where's that volume coming from, Lou? So you're contradicting yourself as well. But let's look at this. Let's look at what's going on. Let's just break it down pretty easy. So January 11th. Let's just take a quick look. January 11th. So he's saying there was no volume, right? Just there's no volume, yada, yada, yada. That's what he's saying, right? The day you got that big break, there was no volume, which logically makes no sense. But let's go back even further, right? Let's go back into December. Okay, you can only go back to November 27th here. Same amounts of volume. And you can go look before and go look on your broker if you have to. This is the only example I'm not going to be able to use because there's plenty of days where there's low volume. This is the biggest amount of BS I've ever seen. And then before, again, 2 weeks before the squeeze here, guess what happens? You're having 30 billion, 25 million, not billion. But that's their biggest days of volume, and then you keep coming. I mean, what is he talking about? Honestly, what is he talking about? And then after it starts going, and once you really get the squeeze, and it's funny that he highlights January 11th, but one can argue the real squeeze didn't even start until January 21st, when you started getting crazy buying. Once again, once you started squeezing from 42 to 76, crazy buying, and then you slow down after the buy button was taken away, which is what he's doing right now. He is trying to tell people, and he's saying, I didn't tell anyone not to buy, but his theory says that buying is making the stock not go up. Can you understand the logic? That's how you know someone is just straight up shilling you and trying to scam you. He's literally saying, I'm not telling you buying's bad, but I'm telling you buying is why the stock's not going up. Can you understand the logic? So I'm just saying, if you want to see how much money I'm making on Twitter, I've already posted it. I posted it a little bit earlier. It's nothing. It's a nothing burger. Go subscribe to Twitter down below. I'm posting everything all day long. Over the past 90 days, I have made, let me zoom into that number. Over the past 90, I can't zoom in it, but it's $2,400. You can go look on Twitter. Over 90 days of making content. Can you wrap your heads around that? That's nothing. Like, honestly, that's literally nothing. I wipe my butt with it, right? I post the gains. I post the losses. I post the trades. Everything like that on Twitter, right? But I'm just... And this is really no one's business. Like, in my opinion, it's no one's business how much people are making from YouTube. But when you start shilling and you make stuff up, you're just making stuff up, and people are buying this crap. It's crazy. One, I've never seen any actual fundamental or technical analysis. It's just like him blabbering. But whatever, go if you want to. But if you want to see what people are making, honestly, just divide this every 10K, every 1K views is $10. And that's why you're making 30 videos in one day about the same thing. You know what I mean? That's why you're doing that. On the same thing, you're making 30 videos a day. And you're just making stuff up. There's no evidence. Like if you're doing if any college or any financial job you go to, or if you're applying for something, you can't just spout nonsense, right? And that doesn't qualify as credible. You have to provide some sort of evidence to why you do something. But people are soaking this up oh, it makes sense. They're using reverse bonds and they're doing this and that. I'm like, what are we talking about? Are we really under this viewpoint that not buying the stock is the best thing for it? This is crazy. This is wild. And back here, all of this time in January, back in December, Wall Street Bets was blowing up on GameStop. I was a victim to one of the people that actually had a little bit of a short position or puts $500 on GameStop, right? I have that video there. I know when I'm wrong. I admit when I'm wrong, right? But this is stupidity, what he is saying. Stupidity, makes zero sense. There is nothing to back it up. He is just getting views. That is what it's for. But this was his rebuttal. This was really his rebuttal on Lou. Like this, he just, and this is what people will do. You have to know this is what people will do in order to make money, right? That's his 6 days, and then he doesn't even highlight when you're getting your biggest move. Zero logic, people. I don't know what else to say. I'm just trying to shed some light on this. I am not the person that's going to tell you buy a hold to the moon, put your life savings into something. I think that's extremely dangerous. But I'm just telling you, this is 100% BS, clickbait for views and sharing stuff like that. And I can't believe people are commenting down below on this. If you believe this theory, unsubscribe, because this is no logic and this is living in fairy tale land. Zero logic whatsoever. And you want the biggest bullish news on this as well. The fact is institutions are buying right now. That's the icing on the cake, right? The institutions are buying in, but retail shouldn't be buying, guys. That's what's holding you down. Sheer stupidity. That's my viewpoint in this. If you have a question, please comment down below. One thing I will say, so I guess they like re-upped it till Monday, for Cyber Monday. Right now, what I use, I'm going to tell you, you can see, I use Pro. There's no reason to get Pro Plus unless you use 70 indicators or Premium. I think it's just a waste of money and they're trying to get money out of you. And then I use this. I personally just do monthly, but I think you have to do the annual thing. So it's like $108. But right now I'm paying like 250 a month. And so 250 a year. So I use the data, right? So just so you know, so this will give you all your data like in real time. It's going to be 100% accurate as the market's moving. That's why I use this. And I use these three right here, the Nasdaq, NYSE, and the ARCA. Those are the ones I use. I don't even need any of the other ones that are kind of like whatever, but this is going to be $6 a month. I use it. Huge. Love it. People are always asking, what do I use? I'm about to make videos going over this as well of how I'm using TradingView. I do have a link down below if you want to use it. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out. But do not feel like you have to use my link. And if you think that I'm just like shilling it, just go to TradingView. Don't use the link at all, because I really do like this, and this is the product I use. I have used TrendSpider before. It's a little bit more expensive, but I think TradingView is just the most bang for your buck. And I know a lot of people aren't out there trading with $10,000, $20,000. So that's my opinion on TradingView. I think it's a great deal right now. I would not pass it up, but it's up to you. Wrapping up my viewpoint on AMC, I think I was very clear with this. I'm a very big bull right now going into December. I think December is going to be the start of the catalyst to get a nice push going into January. This is where I believe you'll have any sort of squeeze if it's going to happen, and I believe you're in the highest probability chance, right? And I think investing is all about taking the high probability bets. And right now, I think AMC is a high probability bet on the upside and has a lot of room to go, right? The contracts I have, the March 18th, 2022s, and I did get into those around 340, and I bought more around 380. That's my position on AMC. So the average is like 360 overall, but that's my position, and that's how I see us moving, staying transparently clear. And I go over those contracts every single video as well. If you have questions, again, comment down below. Big bull, watch the video yesterday if you need to see the TA. I will have a video coming out tomorrow just updating everything and how the index is open and how I see us moving to start the week. Like, subscribe, do what you guys do, and remember, boys, we run the market.
Don't got enough to go cop it. I'm about to take off like a rocket. Houston, we might have a problem, but that don't mean money will solve 'em.